Good morning, Mrs. Lakshmi. It's a pleasure to have you with us today.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to chat with you.
We're thrilled to have you. You're well known for your exceptional South Indian cooking. Could you start by telling us a bit about your background and how you got started in the culinary world?
Absolutely. I grew up in a traditional South Indian family where cooking was an integral part of our daily life. My mother was an amazing cook, and I learned a lot from her. After getting married, I continued cooking, and over time, I started experimenting with recipes and techniques. My passion grew, and what began as a hobby soon became a significant part of my life.
It sounds like cooking has always been a big part of your life. What was the turning point that made you decide to share your cooking with a wider audience?
The turning point came when my friends and family began encouraging me to share my recipes more widely. I started a blog to document my cooking journey, and it quickly gained traction. People appreciated the authenticity and the way I presented traditional recipes with a modern twist. The positive feedback motivated me to continue and eventually led to me being featured in several cooking shows and magazines.
That's wonderful. Your blog and public appearances have certainly made a significant impact. How do you keep your recipes authentic while also making them accessible to a broader audience?
It's all about balancing tradition with innovation. I make sure to stay true to the core ingredients and techniques of South Indian cuisine. However, I also consider the availability of ingredients and the preferences of a global audience. I try to simplify the steps where possible and provide alternatives for harder-to-find ingredients, so that anyone can try making these dishes at home.
Your approach must resonate with many people. Could you walk us through a typical day in your kitchen? What's your process like when you're preparing a new recipe?
Of course. My day starts early, around 5 a.m. I usually begin by planning what I want to cook and gathering all the ingredients. Freshness is crucial, so I visit the local market to pick up vegetables, spices, and other essentials. Once I'm back, I start with the preparations, which can include grinding spices, marinating ingredients, and chopping vegetables. When trying out a new recipe, I experiment with small batches first. I document each step carefully and make notes on what works and what doesn't. It's a bit of trial and error, but that's part of the fun. I also make sure to test the recipe with my family and get their feedback before sharing it publicly.
It sounds like a well-organized and thoughtful process. Do you have a favorite dish that you love to cook or one that holds a special place in your heart?
It's hard to choose just one, but I have a deep affection for traditional sambar. It's a staple in South Indian cuisine and brings back many fond memories of family gatherings. The blend of lentils, vegetables, and spices creates such a comforting and flavorful dish. Plus, it's versatile. Each region and family has its own variation, which makes it even more special.
It sounds like a well-organized and thoughtful process. Do you have a favorite dish that you love to cook or one that holds a special place in your heart?
It's hard to choose just one, but I have a deep affection for traditional sambar. It's a staple in South Indian cuisine and brings back many fond memories of family gatherings. The blend of lentils, vegetables, and spices creates such a comforting and flavorful dish. Plus, it's versatile. Each region and family has its own variation, which makes it even more special.
Sambar is indeed a classic. Speaking of traditions, how do you incorporate family recipes into your cooking, and do you ever make adjustments to them?
Family recipes are like heirlooms to me. I follow them closely but also adjust them to suit modern tastes or to accommodate dietary preferences. For example, I might reduce the amount of oil or offer gluten-free alternatives while keeping the essence of the recipe intact. I think it's important to honor tradition, but also adapt to changing times.
That's a great perspective. Your dedication to preserving and adapting tradition must be very rewarding. How do you handle the pressure of maintaining high standards while managing other responsibilities at home?
It can be challenging, but I try to maintain a balance. I have a routine that helps me manage my time effectively. I involve my family in the process, and their support is invaluable. I also take time for myself to relax and recharge. Cooking is my passion, so it never feels like a burden, even though it requires a lot of effort.
It's clear that your passion for cooking is a driving force in your life. Have you faced any major challenges in your journey, and how did you overcome them?
Yes, there have been challenges. Initially, gaining visibility and establishing credibility was tough. There is a lot of competition, and it took time to build a following. I focused on creating quality content and being consistent. Over time, word of mouth and positive reviews helped me gain traction. There were also personal challenges, like managing time and handling criticism, but I learned to stay focused on my goals and keep improving.
Your perseverance is inspiring. Looking ahead, do you have any future plans or projects that you're excited about?
Yes, I'm currently working on a cookbook that combines traditional recipes with modern techniques. It's been a dream project of mine, and I'm excited to share it with my audience. I'm also looking forward to hosting cooking workshops to connect with more people and share my love for South Indian cuisine in a more interactive way.
That sounds fantastic. We're looking forward to seeing your cookbook and attending your workshops. Before we wrap up, is there any advice you'd give to aspiring cooks or those interested in South Indian cuisine?
My advice would be to start with the basics and build your skills gradually. Don't be afraid to experiment and make mistakes, it's all part of the learning process. Also, immerse yourself in the culture and history of the cuisine. Understanding the origins of the dishes will give you a deep appreciation and help you create more authentic flavors. And most importantly, enjoy the journey of cooking.
Thank you so much for sharing your insights and experiences with us, Mrs. Lakshmi. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you. It's been wonderful to discuss my passion with you. I appreciate the opportunity.
Good luck with your cookbook and future endeavors. We'll be eagerly waiting to see what you do next.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your support.